Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. First of all, I wanted to say thank you all so much for your support on last week's video. I got a lot of great feedback, a lot of suggestions, and I think last week's topic just really resonated with you guys. And your reaction, your response to last week's topic actually inspired this week's topic, and it's a continuation of last week's. So sorry about the voice, by the way. I have a little bit of congestion, so hopefully you can hear past the congestion. So like I was saying, the last week's topic, if you remember, is challenging our negative thoughts, right? Because the way that when an external event happens to us, the way that we think about it affects the way that we feel, and then that affects the way that we behave or respond to that particular event. So this week we're going to talk about self-talk, about challenging our negative self-talk. And the key to challenging our negative self-talk is not by just challenging it and replacing it with something positive, but the positive that we replace it with has to be factual, and has to be something that we truly believe, right? What do I mean by this? For example, very basic, simple example. Let's say I don't think that I'm beautiful, right? Or somebody doesn't believe that they're attractive, or if you're a young man, you feel like you're just not handsome enough, or whatever the case is. By looking in the mirror and continuously telling yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm attractive, I'm handsome, that is not going to make you feel better. It's not going to improve your self-esteem. It's not going to challenge your negative self-talk. It's just going to do nothing. It really doesn't do anything. It's kind of like the fake it till you make it. That's not effective for everybody. You know, maybe some people will find it effective. Maybe you benefit from it. And if you do, that's great. But generally speaking, that kind of just fizzles down, and you're back to square one where you started. So what you do is that you look in the mirror and you pick the things, or you choose the things that you truly do find beautiful about yourself. I have great skin. I have a nice smile. I have pretty eyes. I am handsome because I have this feature. I don't know, whatever guys find handsome about themselves. But right, so it's these things that you truly believe, and when you tell yourself, little by little will increase your self-esteem and your confidence, right? Now, let's say you're doing something, you have to take on this task, right? And you really need to build up all this confidence for you to accomplish this goal, right? Like, for example, an exam, okay? Simple example. I have to take an exam and I feel like I'm just stupid. I'm not smart enough to take this exam. I'm not going to pass. I'm going to fail, right? And you have all these thoughts going on in your head. Now, remember what I said. A little bit of anxiety is okay, because that's what motivates us to study, prepare, make sure that we get all the notes, get everything that we need in order to be able to prepare for the exam, right? And you got to prepare for the exam, right? You're not going to lie to yourself and say, I'm so smart, I'm intelligent, I'm going to pass this test, when you really didn't put in the work. You got to put in the work first, and then the self-talk is kind of like what is the booster. It gives you the push and the confidence to be able to accomplish and follow through with it. So let's say, for example, you're going into this exam, you're really nervous, and you're saying all these negative things to yourself. Stop for a moment, think to yourself, well, have I taken exams in the past? Yes, I have. Have I passed those exams in the past? Yes, I have. Have I put in the same amount of work and found great results in the past? Yes, I have, right? And once you practice telling yourself this, and practice noticing these things, and noticing all of these little past accomplishments, right? You draw from that, and you kind of pull that into the forefront of your brain, and tell yourself, well, I'm not stupid, because I have been able to do this in the past. I am smart enough to pass this exam. I am smart enough to accomplish this goal. Let's say you want to start your own business, right? You want to start a business or something, or you want to, I don't know, buy a car or whatever, right? These little things, you ask yourself, well, have people in my circumstances been able to do this before? Yes, they have. Have people with the same situation or the same circumstances that I'm in been able to save up money to purchase a car that they really wanted? Yes, they have. And so when you look at that and you see these factual things that have happened, right, you kind of use that to combat the thoughts that you have that are not factual. These are just things that we tell ourselves. And just as a side note, just a little bit of information, oftentimes our negative self-talk comes from our schema, right? And our schema is usually a negative perception of the way we view the world, right? And how we receive information, and how we kind of I guess, interpret or categorize that information, it's something called our schema. And oftentimes these schemas are unhealthy and maladaptive, and they're developed at a younger stage in life, but they are definitely able to be changed. We are able to change them to a more positive outlook on life in order to improve our confidence and our self-talk, right? So one more thing I wanted to share with you guys in order to improve our confidence is gratitude. Gratitude is super important. Once we start training our brains and our minds to start to look at the positive things that we have rather than focus on the negative things, it helps us so much in the future. It helps us so much in our lives, right? We tend to build this gratitude muscle, and I talked about this in one of my previous videos. We talk about we think about the kind of like the positive side of things, right? So for example, a car, right? I have a car, and it's not the nicest car, it's not the greatest car, but it's a car that gets me from point A to point B. And that's all I need right now. Maybe in the future I'll have a better vehicle, but right now this is what I have, right? I'm looking out the window right now, and it's really windy today in Brooklyn, and it's super windy. And so I feel like, well, if I need to go pick up my child, or if I need to go run an errand, I'm so grateful that I have this car that I own, even though it's not the nicest, but it's something that I have right now, right? So it's little things like that that you need to really practice on learning and developing in order to improve your self-esteem and self-talk. Three things that I like to use in my journal when I'm writing and when I'm developing practicing gratitude is, what am I grateful for? What is this thing contributing to my life, and how would life be different if I didn't have this thing, right? These are three things that I like to use when I'm practicing gratitude, and it really helps with building that gratitude muscle and then learning how to do it much quicker. And I know a lot of people say that, like, oh, there's people that are just naturally really happy and naturally perky and naturally just very upbeat and positive. And it's not that they're just naturally like that and you can't be like that because you weren't born that way. It's just that they do these things that I'm telling you a lot quicker, right? So when something bad happens to them, or when they have to take an exam that's really difficult, they have these cognitions and these thoughts just a lot quicker than we do, who are, or people that are more used to negative self-talk, or used to a more negative perception of life. They just do it a lot quicker. And so that's not to say that you can't be as perky and happy and positive as these people. It's just going to take time and practice, right? So that's my little information on self-talk and positive self-talk and how we can change it around. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I would love to hear what you guys think and how you can apply this to your lives. Also, I just wanted to make it clear that I am a mental health counselor. I am not licensed in New York, but I am a mental health counselor, and I practice under supervision. So if anybody needs information on anything, they can email me. I will leave my email down below for anybody that needs it. And yeah, that's it. I hope I hear from you guys soon. All right. See you next week.